Hello students, myself Himlata, your mathematics teacher. The topic of today's video is small sample test. In the previous videos, we were discussed about the various steps involved in test of significance and how they were applied to the large sample test. Now this is our last topic of your testing, that is small sample test. What is a small sample test? The test which have number of units less than equals to 30, that is regarded as the small sample. And this is a testing for a given hypothesis. A random sample is drawn from the population. Before going into the testing of small sample, you have a clear idea about the degree of freedom. Now what is degree of freedom? Basically, degree of freedom is the number of the independent observations of the variable. The number of independent observation is different for the different statistic. Suppose we are asked to select any 5 observations and there is no such restriction on these observations. Hence the degree of freedom is 5. And suppose we want to select those 5 observations whose sum is 100. So here the 4 observations can be selected freely, but the 5th observation is automatically selected by the restriction of total 100. Take one more example, like suppose a plus b is equals to 5. Okay, so there will be many such combinations such that a plus b equals to 5. आपने a की वैल्यू मान लो 1 रख ली, अपनी मर्जी से जो मर्जी रख लीजिए, 1 ले ली, पर b की वैल्यू क्या होगी, दैट इज 5 माइनस a, रिस्ट्रिक्टेड होगी. अगर आपने a की वैल्यू 1 ली है तो b की वैल्यू 4 के अलावा और कुछ भी नहीं हो सकती है, राइट? सो दैट मीन्स यू आर independent to choose the value of a. You can take the value of a equals to 2, you can take the value of a equals to 3, but when you fix the value of a yourself, your b will be restricted. Means let's suppose a equals to 3, so that means b has to be 2, otherwise no other such combination is possible. So in those cases, degrees of freedom will be 1 less than the number of variables. Okay, so we are not free to select all the 5 observations, but our freedom is restricted to selection of only 4 observations. Okay, तो हम सिर्फ 4 observations की choice के लिए free है, but जो हमारी 5th observation होगी उसके लिए हमारी independence क्या होगी, restrict होगी. तो in that cases हमारे degrees of freedom क्या हो गया, एक कम हो गया. So that means अगर हमारे पास n observations है और एक restriction है तो डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम कितनी होगी, n-1. मान लीजिए हमारे पास रिस्ट्रिक्शंस एक से ज़्यादा है, 2 रिस्ट्रिक्शन है कि जी इनका सम भी 100 है बट इनकी प्रोडक्ट भी मान लीजिए कितनी होनी चाहिए, 200 होनी चाहिए. 2 रिस्ट्रिक्शंस आ गई. सो दैट मीन्स आपकी जो अब डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम कितनी हो जाएंगी, n-2 हो जाएंगी. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू यू. व्हाट इज डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम? Here are degrees of freedom for the some important statistic like the mean x bar. For the x bar, the degree of freedom is n, and for the variance its value is n-1. Now we come to our main students t distribution test, and this is a very important distribution. This distribution was given by the W.S. Gossett in 1908. He published his work under the pen name of the student. Hence, the distribution is known as the student's t distribution. And what is the formula for this statistic? That is almost same as for the large sample test. That is x bar minus mu divided by, वहाँ पर कितना था, सिग्मा बाय रूट n. यहाँ पर कितना है, s बाय रूट n-1. s क्यों आया, क्योंकि हम स्मॉल सैम्पल टेस्ट में जनरली ये लेके चलते हैं कि हमें सिग्मा अननोन है, मीन्स standard deviation of the population is unknown. Okay, but in the large sample test this was known to you. And what is n minus 1 here? N minus 1 is the degree of freedom. So this was the basic difference between the large sample and the small sample test. Now what are the assumptions of the t distribution? That the population from which the sample is drawn is normal, the sample is random, and the population standard deviation sigma is not known. Okay, and what are the properties? That the probability curve of the t distribution is symmetrical, the tail of the curve are asymptotic to x-axis. When n approaches to infinity, t distribution tends to the normal distribution, and the form of the t distribution varies with the degrees of freedom. So mainly you have to take under consideration the degrees of freedom. I have posted the table of the t distribution for the various degrees of freedom in your Google Classroom. You can check the values there. Now, in the t-test sampling, we will basically discuss three different tests. One is for the mean of the small sample, second one is the difference of the mean, and third one is the paired t-test. These basically three things we will discuss in the small sample t-test. Now here comes your first test, that's the test of significance of a mean of a small sample. Suppose there is a random sample with n observations which have mean x bar and s square will be its variance. Now if we want to test that hypothesis that there is no significant difference between the sample mean and the assumed mean of the population, ठीक है जी, लार्ज सैंपल में भी यही किया था, स्मॉल सैंपल में भी हम यही कर रहे हैं कि क्या हमारे जो सैंपल के मीन में और हमारे पॉपुलेशन के मीन में कोई सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस है भी या नहीं। तो उसके लिए हम सबसे पहले क्या करते हैं, एक हाइपोथेसिस एज्यूम करते हैं, दैट इज योर नल हाइपोथेसिस, और वो क्या होता है, एक न्यूट्रल स्टेटमेंट टू योर क्वेश्चन, और वो जनरली क्या होती है, हाँ जी, कोई भी सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस नहीं है, दैट द पॉपुलेशन मीन इज म्यू ओनली. And what will be your alternate hypothesis? That is just opposite of the null hypothesis, that population mean is not equals to mu. Okay. So what is t here? T is the x bar minus mu sigma. Sigma is important. मैंने last time भी आपको बताया था कि that we are interested in the mod value, not in the negative. So this is x bar minus mu mod over s by root n minus 1. And the degrees of freedom associated is n minus 1. Now if we compare this statistic value with the tabulated value, जो कि मैंने आपको आपके Google Classroom में पोस्ट की हुई है, अगर कैलकुलेटेड वैल्यू आपकी टेबल की वैल्यू से कम है तो आप h नॉट को क्या कर लेंगे, एक्सेप्ट कर लेंगे, अदरवाइज आप उसको क्या करेंगे, रिजेक्ट कर देंगे एट अ सर्टन लेवल ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंस. Now here is a first example. A sample of 20 items has mean 42 units and the standard deviation 5 units. Test the hypothesis that a random sample from a normal population with mean 45 units. कहते हैं हमें एक सैंपल दिया है 20 आइटम्स का, यानी n हो गया 20, दैट इज लेस देन 30, सो दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ स्मॉल सैंपल, और उसमें मीन कितना है 42, स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन कितनी है उसकी 5. ओके, so you are given with the standard deviation of the sample, not the population. So आपको hypothesis check करना है that a random sample from a normal population, कि क्या ये random sample एक normal population में से लिया गया है जिसका mean कितना है 45 units. So what will be your first task? Null hypothesis, right? So what will be your null hypothesis? That there is no significant difference between the sample mean and the population mean. That is mu is 45 units. और alternate क्या होगा? H1, that is mu is not equals to 45. That is your two-tailed test. यहाँ पर आप one-tailed भी ले सकते हो. That mu is greater than 45 or mu is less than 45. Either of that. Now your n is 20. X bar means sample का mean, that is 42. Sample की standard deviation S equals to 5 and the degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom क्या है यहाँ पर? Number of observation कितनी है? 20. 20 minus 1, that is 90. So test statistic हमने लगाया x bar minus mu over S by n minus 1, that is 42 minus 45 divided by 5 by root 19, and that is minus 2.615. Now we are interested only in the mod value, and that is 2.615. Now you will see your tabulated value at a 5% level of significance. जो टेबल मैंने आपको आपके गूगल क्लासरूम में दिया है, वहाँ पर एक साइड में क्या बने होंगे? डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम, दूसरी साइड में आपके बने होंगे लेवल ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंस. वहीं पर ही टू टेल टेस्ट के लिए वन टेल्ड राइट और लेफ्ट के लिए भी डिफरेंट रोज बनी हुई हैं. यहाँ पर हम टू टेल टेस्ट लगा रहे हैं, तो आपने टू टेल टेस्ट के सामने देखना है. कैसे देखना है? जहाँ पर 0.05 लिखा होगा उसके नीचे और 19 डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम कितना है? 19, उसके सामने जो भी वैल्यू आएगी दैट इज योर गिवन वैल्यू, and that is coming out to be 2.09. Okay, now see, the calculated value is greater than the tabulated value, so that means you will reject your null hypothesis. और null hypothesis को reject करने का क्या मतलब होगा? कि yes, there is a significant difference between the sample mean and the population mean. So that means the sample could not have come from this population. Here we take one more example to clarify it. Here in this question, you are given with the data in which you have to calculate your x bar and the standard deviation. In the last question, those things were given. So you are given with the 9 items: 45, 47, 50, 52, 48, 47, 49, 53 and 51. So does the mean of these values differ significantly from the assumed mean? 47.5. Okay. So ये मैंने आपको आपके मीन वाले चैप्टर में ऑलरेडी करवा रखा है कि how to calculate the mean and the standard deviation from the given values. So you will form a table where in one side you will write down your x values 45, 47, 50 and so on. Then you will calculate x minus x bar. For that you need x bar. X bar will be what? Sum of the items divided by total number of items. So here will be sum of the items divided by n. वो कैलकुलेशन करके कितना आ रहा है? 49.1. ठीक है जी. So see your second row, x minus x bar. उसमें पहली आइटम क्या आएगी? 45 minus 49.1, that is minus 4.1. 47 minus 49.1, that is minus 2.1. 50 minus 49.1, that is 0.9 and so on. Okay, then you will square these items. X minus x bar square. Minus 4.1 का स्क्वायर किया 16.81, minus 2.1 का स्क्वायर किया 4.41 and up to so on, and just add them. This value coming out to be 54.89. Now what is the formula for the variance? That summation x minus x bar whole square divided by n minus 1. Here you are taking n minus 1, not n. So there will be two options: either take here n, or then take in the statistic n minus 1, or you take here n minus 1 and there you take the test statistic value n. Okay, सो दिस इज 6.86. इसका स्क्वायर रूट लिया तो आई वैल्यू 2.619. नाउ सेम वैसे ही नल हाइपोथेसिस आप लेंगे कि देयर इज नो सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस बिटवीन द सैंपल एंड पॉपुलेशन मीन. अल्टरनेट क्या लेंगे कि म्यू इज नॉट इक्वल टू 47.5, दैट मीन्स टू टेल टेस्ट. और टेस्ट स्टैटिस्टिक लगाया टी एक्स बार माइनस म्यू ओवर एस बाई रूट एन. यस रूट एन, यही मैंने आपको कहा. या तो ऊपर एस स्क्वेयर में एन ले लीजिए और यहाँ पर n-1 ले लीजिए जो जनरली चल रहा है, या फिर अब हमने ऊपर n-1 ले लिया. सो दैट मीन्स हम यहाँ पर क्या ले रहे हैं, सिंपल ओवर एन. सो कैलकुलेशन के बाद ये वैल्यू आ रही 1.8327. नाउ अब टेबल में आपने क्या देखना है, एट 5% लेवल ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंस, जहाँ पर 0.05 लिखा होगा उसके नीचे, और डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम कितनी है 9-1 दैट इज 8. 8 के सामने जो भी वैल्यू आएगी, एंड दैट इज 2.31. एंड सी द कैलकुलेटेड वैल्यू इज less than the tabulated value. So what that mean? So this means your H not get accepted. That means there is no significant difference between the population and the sample. Okay students, I hope this topic is clear to you. In the next video we will discuss about the test of significance for the difference between the means of samples and the pair tree test. Thank you.